That's insanely powerful.
Yeah.
And I felt like when I was listening to your book, I was hearing that. That like, okay, we this is an opportunity for us to fix this.
Yeah.
Because you talk about the difference between failure and I think losing, right?
Losing and failing. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about the difference between losing and failing. You okay?
Excuse me. Yeah. Swallowed my spit wrong.
A good host would have water for you.
No, you're good. I was just thinking.
I am not a good host. This is, you know what this is? This is me failing. Next time I'll have water.
You're good. I usually bring a water bottle. I quit bringing bubbly water because then I'm burping in the mic too much, and so I usually just bring some flat. But losing and failing, the difference between losing and failing is losing is when you show up to a risk unprepared, you swing the bat and miss. To me, that's losing. There's nothing you can learn from that, because when you show up prepared, you swing and miss, you can evaluate it and say, what did I do wrong that I could do better next time? And then you make that change and then you show up to the bat again. Like failing's good, in my opinion. Like if I'm using the two analogies, like failing is good, losing's bad. Failing's being powerful, losing is being a victim. And we get caught in that victim mindset. It's like, oh, I showed up, it didn't happen, it's not meant to be. And you know, and there's the nuance, right? I talk about the nuance where it's like, you show up, like people say, trust God with the end result. And I believe that fully. Like you are giving your future, putting your future in God's hands. But if you don't show up the most powerful way you can, you're not giving him much to work with. And so it's like losing is showing up unprepared, swinging and missing and being like, well, God, I give it to you. And he's like, no, I've empowered you to show up prepared. And I use this example all the time. Is my brother's a stand-up comedian and he does these different shows and he'll bring different comedians who are, you know, nervous or trying to get their, you know, their first gig going. And he, you know, he had this one person come on their show and he was like, hey, you could do 5 minutes today on the show. Are you down for that? And this person's like, yeah, I'd love to do it. So it's 2 weeks goes by, the show happens. This person gets up and just like, hi, just bombs, just sucks the fun out of the whole building. I'm sitting there, everyone's butt is clenched because it's just so awkward. And I was like, this is embarrassing. And I'm thinking, man, this is an epic failure. I wonder how this person's going to feel. I'm going to talk to this person after. And I went up and I said, what happened? Are you okay? That kind of felt like it bombed. And this person said, yeah, you know, I didn't prepare. I just showed up and winged it. Gotcha. So you got given this opportunity. And instead of preparing for it, you just winged it. And then you splattered everywhere. You have nothing you can learn from this experience, except for be prepared next time. And it's like, but if this person would have went up and told a joke that they had prepared and rehearsed and nobody laughed, that joke doesn't work. Or maybe I can change the wording on this joke. Another joke. Oh, that got a little bit of laughter. That got a little laughter. You see the Miss Daisy. There's some show called The Marvelous Miss Daisy. Or
I've heard of it. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Basically, it's so funny because in that show, she does that. She watches her husband perform comedy, and she's always taking notes. Got 10 laughs. Got no laughs, got 4 laughs, she's evaluating what works, what doesn't. She's not judging it of like, you're a bad comedian. It's like, that didn't work, this worked. That didn't work, this worked. And then she would give him feedback and he'd be sitting there like, oh, whatever, I don't know, I'm just bad. And she's like, no, you got 14 laughs on this one. If you just tweak these 2 words, and he's like, shut up. So she ends up becoming a comedian herself and becomes really successful as a show. It's not a spoiler alert because it happens early on. But I'm like, that's the difference between losing and failing. Is you show up to an opportunity, you give it your best, and then you've missed the mark and you say, what can I do differently? And that's why I said I see a lot of victims in the church, because a lot of people want to blame the devil or God or, you know, not favor or something, where it's like, man, you did not show up and put your best foot forward that God gave you.
I think that, you know, that story of when Christ is fasting in the desert and the devil comes to him and, you know, he says, hey, jump off and the Lord will send. I'm horrible at paraphrasing.
I know what you're talking about.
But he says, do not tempt the Lord thy God.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, can you tempt God? No, what it means is, you know, you don't put your failures at God's feet.
Yeah.
You don't not do the right thing and then lay it at God's feet.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a great analogy.
I'm sure I heard a pastor say it, trust me. But because I remember that, do not tempt the Lord thy God. We've all heard that. Yeah. And he talked about it. He's like, you're not tempting God. God was like, oh, well, maybe no, it was like, you don't do the wrong thing and then say that I'm supposed to step in and fix it every time. Yeah. And we've always heard the, you know, God helps those who help themselves. That's the little saying that tries to get you to get off the couch. Yeah. To be like, you went and knocked on 100 doors and you sold 4. Man, that's helping yourself, man. That's you knocked on 100 doors.